Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you another Xbox Series S review. Today's review is for Phoenix Point from Snapshot Games. And this has just come out on Xbox and PlayStation. I chose to get this on Xbox because it is free on Game Pass. So that is the coverage that you are watching. It is from my Xbox Series S. Now, what is Phoenix Point? Well, if you look at it pretty carefully, you can see this is very much an XCOM-like game. In more ways than one. It's my understanding that the people that made this game were behind the original XCOM games. So it's no surprise that this is almost like a clone of the Xbox Series games, the XCOM series games, I should say. Now, it's a familiar story. You are a group of soldiers, mercenaries, whatever, called Phoenix Point, and it is your job to take down a global alien menace, a mutating alien menace that is trying to take over the world. You have to put a team together, gather resources, expand your influence throughout the globe, and take on certain missions in order to stop this global threat. Now, that is the only point of the game, really. You also have to coexist with a few different factions, and you can either work with them or against them and play them off against each other. There is a level of diplomacy involved in this game as well, which is slightly different to XCOM. But basically, guys, if you guys out there have played the XCOM games, especially the newest one, this is definitely going to feel like a carbon copy of the Xbox games. It is very, very similar in many ways. There is a base, there's like a base management system in place here, so you have to gather resources, and you do this in a number of ways. You can fly around the geoscape, it's called, which essentially is like a global map, and there are some missions that you go to where they will just be simple resource gathering, and that might just be a text-based thing saying that you found some resources, or you can go down on missions and collect resource crates, etc. And all these resources you can use to build new facilities on your base, such as living quarters, medical bays, power generators, vehicle bays, fabrication plants. All of these things you need to manufacture new equipment for you and your team to make your team more powerful. So you can develop new armor, new weapons, new shielding, a whole array of things to upgrade your team to make them more powerful as they go into the more difficult missions. You're going to need to research as well, so you need a research lab. So you've got to research new things in the game to move the game forward. All of these stuff you would kind of expect here. So there's like a base management system in place. You need to recruit new soldiers because permadeath's here. If you lose a soldier on the mission, you've lost the soldier basically. So you need to keep recruiting soldiers. You need to make sure you have enough equipment in place to equip those soldiers as you recruit them. So you need to keep manufacturing gear and weapons and upgrading your soldiers. But you also have to upgrade their skills as well. And there's a whole array of different skills. You've got the usual things that you would expect in this. You've got some soldiers who are like range-based. Some are up close and more powerful. Some carry heavy weapons. Some carry sniper rifles, etc. The usual kind of stuff. And you've got like vehicles as well on the mission. Very much what you got in like Wasteland 3, a vehicle in there. That can fire like a ranged weapon and blow up the environment and things like that. It's really useful. But in regards to the combat here, the combat is, as you would expect, it's turn-based. Of course it's turn-based. And like I say, and I keep repeating myself, I know, but if you've played an XCOM game, you will know immediately what you're doing here. You've got all the usual things. You've got your overwatches, you've got the ability to throw grenades, and as you upgrade your soldiers, as you go through the missions, you've got different things like dash and a whole different way of upgrading your soldiers to make them unique on missions, which makes the missions a little bit more fun. The combat's slightly different in a way that you can actually hold down the left trigger to zoom into your target, and then if you hold down left trigger again, you can literally target limbs in this game, which is a nice option. So you get a nice close-up shot of you shooting the enemy, which is always appreciated. The graphics are pretty decent here. I've no real complaints. They're exactly what you would expect, although I have experienced quite a number of bugs and crashes playing the game, which is a bit unfortunate. And in a couple of missions I've gone into, like the controls have stopped working and been non-responsive, so I've had to kind of restart the game to get it to work again. So it could do with a couple of patches, I would say, this game, to make it a little bit less frustrating to play. But overall, I have to say, this is a really enjoyable game for those of you who like turn-based strategy games. Definitely for those of you out there who like the XCOM type games. This essentially is as close as you're going to get to an XCOM game. Your recruits are fully customizable. As you can see, you can change whether it's a male, female, hairstyles, beards, skin tones, armor color, the whole array of things that you would expect to customize. It's all there. You can rename them. You can do the whole amount of things that you would expect to do in this game. So it all feels like more personalized to you, which is one of the things that I really love about XCOM, is a sense of when you lose a soldier, it's like it's a real hit, if you like, because you've almost got like a connection to them. You can have that here in this game, and it's a really fun game to play. Yes, some of the crashes and bugs are a little bit frustrating. It does feel a little bit rough around the edges compared to such a polished game like XCOM and XCOM 2. But it is a really fun alternative, and I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with this game, so it's definitely worth checking out, guys. If you're looking for an XCOM alternative, this is certainly one I would suggest you play. It's lots of fun. The combat's really familiar. There's some nice like cutscenes. There is voice acting here, but it's nothing overly special. It's mainly through text-based and like cartoony-based cutscenes. But it's a lot of fun to play. So I hope you enjoyed this review.